particular part of the discussion has changed your understanding about the purpose of man's existence in relation to God as the ultimate end goal of man and support your answer. So, I sum up those answers based from my group mates. There is a conflict between our discussion, but we end up the discussion is all about the fundamental option, which tells us that one's moral life between right and wrong, beliefs or truth, because in our generation, when we say the beliefs of Christian has a very conflict to understand. Yes. And adopt it because somehow that's the tradition we used to believe rather than to comply is the sad situation. And fundamental option help us to recognize, to know which must be the better decision to choose. So the fundamental option is the one we caught by the topic according to this module and leads my member also and me, we believe that we have this choice to live according to what is the tradition in the house and to what is right or making the right decision. So basically, it is somehow it is in our own life that we will choose or what will we choose. So now let me read to you the key takeaways, which is a moral agent. A moral agent is one who performs an act in accordance with moral standards. Next is, a moral agent should have the capacity to rise above his or her feelings and passion and acts in accordance with the moral law. A moral agent has the capacity to conform to moral standards, to act for the sake of moral consideration, that is, for the sake of moral law. And the third one is, an insane person who does not have the capacity to think, choose, cannot be a moral agent. I already said it earlier. So the fourth one is, a dog is therefore not a moral agent because it doesn't have the capacity to conform to moral standards. It cannot knowingly, freely, and voluntarily act, does not have a mind and free will. Like the dog, a robot cannot be a moral agent too. So the fifth is, the moral agent is purpose-driven or end-driven. That end is sought for its own sake. An end no longer sought for the sake of another end, the highest good, which is happiness. Next is, from the Christian point of view, a human person's destiny in the world. The next is not only to achieve cultural and moral perfection, but to attain the eternal happiness of the soul after death of the body. As a moral agent, his duty is to know, to love, and to serve God, his ultimate end. Next is, fundamental option is a human person, basic choice or inner orientation either for a good life, directed towards others and God, or for a bad life, directed towards himself or herself and cut off from others and God. Man as moral agent adopts the fundamental option, a free choice to say yes to God's invitation to follow his way. There is no prefix plan for the human person as a moral agent. For the existentialist like Jean-Paul Sartre, the Jean-Paul Sartre, the human person, the moral agent, becomes what he or she makes of himself or herself by choice. He or she is nothing, no essence until he or she starts his or her existence by making choices. So, to the process philosophers like Teilhard Chardin and Alfred North Whitehead, whatever a human person, the moral agent is or will be a result of a creative process. The moral agent has to create his or her end, purpose, or directions. He or she has to invent his or her destiny. Since there is no goal or end designed for him or her, he or she would completely be the author of what he or she turns out to be. He or she will be totally responsible for what he or she will be. Other groups like Martin Heidegger, Gabriel Marcel, and Martin Buber see the moral agent as a being with others, who is inseparably related to his or her fellow man. Together with moral agents, the human person goes through life, designing his or her end, guided by messages, and veiled in a life of dialogue with others and with the world. For Brabander, the moral agent directs his or her life to improve, refine, develops his world in order to bring out the world to come. Franker likewise claims that the moral agent should direct his or her life to spiritualization of this material world. So that is the key takes away. So to conclude the topic or to conclude discussion, so those are the key takes away.